The sun hung high over downtown Atlanta, its golden rays bouncing off the glass walls of the prestigious Halcyon Grand Hotel. Inside the elegant marble-floored lobby, staff moved swiftly, their uniforms crisp, their smiles well-rehearsed. Behind the polished front desk stood Chesney Ward, the hotel's senior receptionist and self-proclaimed gatekeeper of class. She had perfected the art of judging people before they spoke a word. That morning, her perfectly manicured nails tapped impatiently against the desk, scanning the entrance for guests worth her attention. The lobby doors parted, and in stepped a woman who did not match the usual clientele. Monrae Ellis, a tall, dark-skinned woman in a plain gray cardigan, well-worn shoes, and a second-hand leather satchel, walked in with quiet confidence. Her eyes scanned the lobby, then landed on the front desk. Chesney's expression shifted the moment she saw her. Her eyes narrowed with amusement, masked as curiosity. "Can I help you?" she asked with a sugar-coated sneer. Monrae approached. Politely, "Yes, I'm here to apply for the guest relations coordinator position. I saw the listing online and wanted to deliver my resume in person." Chesney gave a hollow laugh. "You want to work here?" Monrae nodded, offering a calm Mayfield smile. She handed over a neatly folded envelope containing her application. Chesney took it, but made no effort to open it. Instead, she tilted her head with mock sympathy. "Sweetheart, this is the Halcyon Grand. We cater to high-profile clients, actors, CEOs, politicians. It's not really a place for, well..." She glanced at Monrae's shoes, then added, "Well, just anyone." "I understand," Monrae replied evenly. "But I believe my experience would..." Chesney didn't let her finish. With a dramatic sigh, she ripped the envelope in half and tossed the papers into the trash bin beside her. Her voice dropped to a condescending whisper. "Try the diner across the street. They might be hiring." A wave of silence fell between them. Monrae looked down at the shredded paper, then back up at Chesney. Her expression remained composed, but her eyes had changed. Calm, yet unyielding. "I see," she said softly. "Thank you for your time." As Monrae turned to leave, a young man holding a clipboard hurried into the lobby. He looked around with mild panic before addressing the front desk. "Has the new owner arrived yet?" he asked, slightly breathless. Chesney blinked. "Owner? You mean the corporate guy from New York?" He shook his head. "No, the new majority owner. The person who just acquired the controlling share in the Halcyon chain. We got a notice this morning. Meeting's in an hour." Chesney chuckled dismissively. "Unless they came in wearing thrift store fashion, I haven't seen anyone important." Monrae paused mid-step. Her back still turned, she did not speak. The man checked his watch. "Well, she's supposed to be here already?" Chesney rolled her eyes. "She? Let me guess. Another boardroom puppet who's never set foot in hospitality." Monrae turned slightly, just enough to glance over her shoulder. Her expression was unreadable. Without another word, she exited the lobby and disappeared through the revolving doors. Back behind the desk, Chesney leaned toward her coworker, whispering with a smirk, "Can you believe the nerve of some people? Walking in here dressed like that, thinking she could get a job." The coworker chuckled nervously, unsure whether to laugh or worry. Outside, Monrae stepped into the warm air, the buzz of traffic and city life humming around her. She pulled out her phone, checked the time, and gave a faint nod to herself. This hotel was going to learn something today. Not about clothing, status, or assumptions, but about grace, resilience, and the price of underestimating the wrong woman. Chatiki. Halcyon Grand Hotel's conference room was abuzz with whispers. Every department head, supervisor, and floor manager had been called for an emergency meeting by corporate. The unexpected memo had caused a stir, especially among the front desk staff. No one knew exactly what the meeting was about, only that the new majority owner of the hotel chain would be present. Chesney Ward sat confidently near the front row, legs crossed, fingers scrolling through her phone. Her colleague Nico sat beside her, shifting nervously in his seat. "I heard she's from overseas," Nico murmured. "Maybe someone from Dubai?" Chesney scoffed, without looking up. "Whoever she is, I hope she understands this hotel runs smoothly because of people like us." At exactly 10 a.m., the room quieted as the regional director, Mr. Colton Briggs, entered with his assistant. He adjusted his navy blazer and smiled broadly, the kind of smile reserved for high-level executives and major investors. "Good morning, everyone," he began. "Thank you for assembling on such short notice. Today marks an important transition for the Halcyon brand. We are proud to welcome a new majority shareholder who brings a fresh perspective, exceptional experience, and a powerful legacy." The door at the back of the room opened slowly. He continued, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the new CEO of Halcyon International Properties, Ms. Monray Ellis." Heads turned in confusion. Chesney's smirk vanished. Monray stepped inside, not in the simple gray cardigan from earlier, but in a custom-tailored navy blue pantsuit. Her posture was straight, her heels clicked with calm precision, and her afro was pulled into a regal bun. A minimalist gold pin on her lapel shimmered under the lights, engraved with the initials M.E. The silence was thick. Chesney's eyes widened. Her lips parted slightly, but no words came out. Monray approached the front with effortless grace. Mr. Briggs gestured to the podium. She nodded politely and stepped forward. "Thank you, Colton," she said, her voice firm but warm. "And thank you all for being here." She paused for a moment, surveying the room. "I will not waste your time with a long speech. Many of you do not know me yet, but that will change soon. I believe in people, in culture, in dignity. I also believe in understanding how a place operates from the inside." She took a small remote from the podium and clicked. A large screen behind her flickered to life. Security footage began to play. The timestamp read, "Earlier this morning, lobby camera." 3 on-screen, the staff watched themselves in disbelief. The footage showed Monray walking into the hotel lobby, in her modest attire, approaching the front desk, handing over her resume. Then it captured the unmistakable moment Chesney ripped up the envelope and tossed it into the trash bin. Chesney's voice was loud and clear. "Try the diner across the street. They might be hiring." The room gasped. Some turned to look at Chesney, whose face had gone pale. Monray clicked again, pausing the footage. "I visited today as a stranger," she said. "I wanted to see how guests and potential staff are treated when no one's watching. Sadly, what I experienced was not professionalism. It was prejudice cloaked in a name tag." She turned toward Chesney. "I gave you an opportunity to offer kindness. Instead, I was dismissed with arrogance. Not once were my qualifications asked. Not once was I treated with dignity." Chesney stood slowly, her voice trembling. "Ms. Ellis, I didn't know who you were." "If I had known," Monray raised a hand calmly. "That's exactly the problem. You should not treat people well because of who they are. You should treat them well regardless of who they are." The words struck the room like a thunderclap. He turned back to the staff. "This hotel is more than chandeliers and 5-star ratings. It is a reflection of our values. And going forward, those values will be reset. Mr. Briggs stepped forward again. Effective immediately, Ms. Ward is relieved of her duties. The company will not tolerate discriminatory behavior under any circumstances. Chesney's knees buckled slightly. You can't do this. I've been here for 6 years. Monray remained composed. 6 years of experience should have made you better, not bitter. Security gently escorted Chesney from the room. As she passed through the door, she glanced back at Monray. No anger, no vengeance, just quiet authority. With Chesney gone, Monray addressed the room once more. Now for the good news. I saw kindness in unexpected places this morning. One of your janitorial staff, Mr. Dario Melendez, offered me a bottle of water when he noticed how upset I was. He asked if I needed directions. He smiled without judgment. Gasps filled the room again. Dario, please stand. A shy man in coveralls stood awkwardly near the back. Effective immediately, Monray smiled. You will begin training to join our guest experience team. You understand more about hospitality than some who wear suits. Applause broke out. Monray stepped down from the podium. As she walked past the rows of staff, nodding at each person, the air felt different. It was not just respect. It was admiration earned, not demanded. Outside the conference room, hotel guests continued checking in, unaware that the very foundation of the Halcyon Grand had shifted. But inside those walls, people would remember that day as the moment the balance of power tipped in favor of decency. Monray returned to the lobby, this time not as a forgotten applicant, but as the visionary leading a new era. 1 week later, the Halcyon Grand Hotel was no longer the same place it had been. A new rhythm flowed through its halls, one of accountability, inclusion, and renewed purpose. The morning air carried a different energy, and even the chandelier. Light seemed warmer, reflecting the transformation that had taken root. At the center of it all was Monray Ellis, seated behind her newly renovated office desk on the top floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered her a breathtaking view of the city skyline, but she was not here for the view. Her hands moved over documents outlining policy changes, mentorship initiatives, and restructuring plans. Her phone buzzed with a reminder. Staff orientation 10:05 a.m. This was not just another corporate seminar. Today was about reshaping the future of Halcyon. From the inside out, downstairs, the grand ballroom had been repurposed. Rows of seats faced a modern stage, adorned with elegant lighting and a simple banner that read, "Hospitality begins with humanity." Employees gathered slowly, some unsure of what to expect, others whispering about the changes they had witnessed in just a few days. Managers stood beside housekeeping staff. Concierges sat next to maintenance workers. There was no hierarchy, only one team. The doors opened, and Monray entered. This time, she wore a soft ivory blouse paired with a deep plum skirt, professional yet approachable. No unnecessary embellishments, just clarity. "Good morning," she began, her voice steady. "Before we dive into policies, I want to talk about something more personal." She paused, letting her words settle. "Some of you met me without knowing who I was." That moment became a mirror, not just for the staff, but for me too. It reminded me that even success cannot shield you from judgment. Even credentials cannot guarantee respect. Heads nodded. Eyes stayed locked on her. We often speak about excellence, but we forget that excellence starts with empathy. It starts when the bellhop greets a guest sincerely, when the housekeeper smiles without being asked, when the front desk remembers a returning visitor's name, not because it is written down, but because they care. She walked slowly across the stage. Many, Companies speak about diversity. They post banners, run ad campaigns, but fail to listen to the voices already in the room. Here at Halcyon, that changes today. A slideshow flickered to life behind her, displaying her first initiatives. Initiative 1. Unconscious Bias Training. All employees, regardless of rank, would participate in comprehensive training on how perception affects treatment. The curriculum would be mandatory and recurring. Initiative 2. Inclusive Hiring Panels. No applicant would be judged by a single person's opinion. Interview panels would include staff from different backgrounds and departments, promoting fairness. In selection, Initiative 3. Growth pathways for entry-level staff porters, janitors, and kitchen workers would receive access to workshops, tuition assistance, and leadership coaching to climb the ladder, if they chose. In the audience, Dario Melendez listened with awe. Just days ago, he had mopped floors unnoticed. Today, he had been given a mentor and a roadmap toward becoming a hospitality supervisor. Monray gestured to the crowd. Real leadership is not about fancy suits or corner offices. It is about creating space for others to rise. Applause echoed across the ballroom. At the rear of the room, a figure lingered quietly. Chesney Ward. She had returned, not in defiance, but in humility. After being dismissed, she had taken time to reflect, speak with friends, and seek guidance. What she saw today was more than redemption. It was education. After the event, she waited near the hallway, hoping for a chance to speak. Monray spotted her, hesitated briefly, then approached. "Ms. Ellis," Chesney began, "I owe you more than an apology. I saw your skin color, your cardigan, and assumed you did not belong here. I disrespected you and everything this brand claims to represent. I am sorry." Monray looked her in the eye, her expression unreadable. "I appreciate the apology," she said carefully. "But apology alone does not rewrite behavior. Growth does." Chesney nodded. "I understand. I want to grow. I've started volunteering at a community center, working with job seekers from underrepresented backgrounds. I don't expect forgiveness. I only ask for a chance to become better." Monray considered her words. Actions speak loudest. If you are serious, join the next bias training cycle. Start from the ground, like everyone else. Chesney's shoulders relaxed. "Thank you. I will." Later that day, Monray walked the hotel floor personally. She visited each department, asked questions, listened without interrupting. She watched how staff interacted with guests, but also how they treated one another. She passed the concierge desk, where Nico now wore a pin that read, "Pride in Service." He offered her a respectful nod, not out of obligation, but admiration. In the lobby, she spotted a young girl watching the grand fountain in awe. Her mother stood beside her, suitcase in hand, looking exhausted from travel. Monray knelt beside the child. "Do you like the fountain?" The girl grinned. "It looks like a princess's castle." Monray chuckled. "Then I hope you enjoy your stay in our castle." The mother blinked in surprise. "Wait, are you?" Monray smiled. "Just someone who believes kindness is the real luxury." As she returned to her office that evening, Monray gazed out at the glowing city lights. The skyline reminded her of something her grandmother once told her. "People may try to dim your light, baby, but shine anyway. Shine until they cannot ignore it." And now, not only was she shining, she was helping others ignite their own flames. The Halcyon Grand was no longer simply a hotel. It had become a symbol, not just of transformation, but of what happens when respect replaces judgment, vision defeats bias, and one woman dares to rewrite the rules.